Hello friends, welcome back to week 9 of working with a personal trainer. So, to get into it, hydration was fine. And in fact, I'm going to do a little video of how I get my hydration in every day, since that isn't a struggle for me. So that is something I can actually pass on. It's a skill I have. It's really just a habit you get into of tracking it and learning what you need to drink in order to meet your goal. So for sleep, it was, I got my 9.5 hours every night. There was a couple nights that I didn't turn off my phone on time at 8 o'clock, and it really had to do with we were doing other things. We were out of the house. We weren't just in our normal home routine, so that doesn't surprise me. And out of the week, I did wake up on time 2 times. So I'm taking it as a win. 2 is better than none. I did have a rest day on Sunday. A true rest day. I worked on Saturday, I did the grocery shopping and I came home and I had 3 different recipes I wanted to work on. And West said, do you want to stay home and work on this rather than going out and doing other chores with me? And I said yes, because that made it so I really did have a rest day on Sunday. I didn't have any extra. I did do like one cooking thing, but it was, we had the leftover or the last harvest from our tomatoes, and I needed to figure out what to do with green tomatoes, and I ended up making salsa. I called it Christmas salsa because it's a combination of green and red tomatoes. And it turned out pretty good. I went a little bit heavy at first with the cilantro, so that's why the red tomatoes got added in, but it's tasty. But that was a fun experiment. That's just tossing things into a blender and press go. So it wasn't really a long, involved process. So Sunday did turn into a rest day because I did concentrate on home things on Saturday. So that was helpful. I did weigh in this morning. This past week for week 9, it was the week leading up to and the week when my period started. So I did not expect my weight loss to be amazing or if at all anything, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. I am looking into, because for the longest time people were asking me about patterns with the migraines, and it was never really clear because I was having them so often. But after going on Nurtec, it sort of cleared the air and revealed that I was having definitely concentrated headaches around my period, right before it starts, right after it starts. And that really points the finger at serotonin, which is part of why they put me on amitriptyline, because amitriptyline is there to raise your serotonin levels. But I have another supplement that I was taking that's basically gives you all the building blocks for the neurotransmitters without actually directly affecting the receptors or anything. It just says, here's the stuff if you want to do something with it. And I've been cautious about taking them both at the same time, so I don't want to go and have too much serotonin. But this last time, I was fine during the PMS week. But on the end of the first day of my period into the second day, I was having headaches. So I think I'm going to experiment this next time with trying to take some of that supplement, just a small dose, like for the PMS week, is that from what I've looked at, it's basically your serotonin bottoms out right before your period. So we will see. We'll see if that helps. But even saying that, having a 2-day migraine in the middle of all this is a vast improvement from what it used to be. So we're moving in the right direction. So all that off of weighing in. Yeah. For exercise, I was able to do all my exercise sessions, and this last week marked my beginning of using the weights with her. During our meeting on Wednesday, we went over one of the programs, because it's going to be 3 different weightlifting days and 3 programs I'm doing, and so she taught me the first one, and today, being Wednesday, she's going to teach me the second one, and then next week she'll teach me the third one until I have all 3 of them in rotation. And it was good. I had different muscles hurting after doing it than that one time I did it by myself. So that just tells me I wasn't doing the exercises exactly right, because we targeted different muscles this last time. So that was on Wednesday, and then on Monday I was supposed to repeat that by myself at home, and I was able to do it, but there was some that are still challenging because I was a little bit still sore from that last Wednesday. So today I'll be learning the second session of weightlifting. I enjoy the weightlifting part. I really don't enjoy leg work while you're doing squats and that sort of thing, because it's just hard and it burns, and I don't like hearing my knees crunch. So hopefully that'll change over time. In terms of journaling, I have journaled. I've basically decided on all of the weekdays I'll be trying to purposely journal and giving myself the weekends off, because it's just a different schedule. So I have journaled. It still hasn't gotten very deep, but I've been talking to my counselor about it and talking about different techniques, but also whether or not I really should be trying to just dig in if I don't feel like I'm ready. So it's still one of those things of, okay, I'm journaling, but we'll see. In terms of nutrition, when we met, I told her I was kind of tired of being hungry, consistently hungry every single day, to the point where it's this thing of, this is my nutrition goal, but I'm hungry and I'm going to eat according to my hunger, but then I feel like I'm failing every single day because I'm not meeting the nutrition goal. So we increased it by a whole 50 calories, but in the way that she did it, it basically just said, here, have some extra protein. So this week, my nutrition's ranged anywhere from 1530 to 1727. So there's quite a range, but I kind of expect that on the week before my period. And the day that I did not track was Monday, when we went down for a doctor's appointment for my mother-in-law. And once again, on the day I didn't track, my breakfast was normal, my lunch was normal. And even for the dinner at the restaurant, I chose off the skinny menu. And I mean, this particular menu had all the calories posted, and I was just like, that's crazy. That's one meal's worth my entire day's calories. I can't do that. So I chose one that was like, my normal dinner is like 450 or 460 calories. And so this one was like 570. So like, that's pretty darn close and looks tasty, has lots of veggies in it. But then of course, everything got blown out of the water because we did have dessert, but I split the dessert. So I wouldn't be surprised if that day was over the 1726 that I had recorded the previous day. But it's one of those things of going back to the 80-20 principle of, most of the time, the vast majority of the time, I'm eating on point. It's just occasionally I don't. And that's really the only way this is going to be sustainable, is to allow that occasionally not being on point. Especially considering coming up, it's like I was talking about this next week with West. It's like, I don't think there's going to be any day I'm not tracking, because the following week is Thanksgiving and we already have scheduled 3 different Thanksgiving dinners. And so there's going to be 3 days I'm not going to be able to track well. I can make wise choices and I can eat smaller portions, but trying to track things other people are making, it's not going to be possible. So even though I love the days that I don't track, I'm going to commit to this next week, tracking every day, because of the upcoming holidays. In terms of homework, it was just basically track your food and do your exercise. And so I was able to do that. Last week I did say I'd be interested to know what that BMI goal would be to get into the healthy range, and it is 24.9. And on week 9, I was at 29.1. So there's a bit of a difference between those two numbers, and I looked it up, and the top edge of the healthy weight range is 179. So I have basically 30 pounds to go. But that gives me numbers to point towards and say, okay, I'm making progress towards them. There's an actual, real goal out there. When I say my ultimate goal for weight is 160, that's just a generic that sounds like a good weight. It's kind of in the medium of the healthy range. So I'm not like teetering on the edge of being on the unhealthy range. But knowing if I can get past that point, I'm trying to remember. I don't know that if I've been in the 170s for the past 10 years or so. I know I got into the 190s, and I think I dipped my toes in the 180s. So that'll be interesting. But so that's how this week's gone. Kind of bummed that I did get a headache. And I took all the medicine I was able to take, and I was still lingering. But this morning I woke up and my head feels fine. So there was some exposures to some smells. We had stopped after the doctor's appointment Monday. We stopped by our house to show Mom the progress and everything, and the house reeked of spray paint because they're spraying the cabinets right now, and that was a really horrible smell. And then you walk outside and it smelled like cows, which is not helpful at all. It was one strong smell to another strong smell, and then I got to Mom's house and I smelled something else. I was like, okay, obviously I'm very sensitive to smells, so this is not just any old headache, it's a migraine. But I'm glad that it has passed and it's not lasting multiple days. So it's a great improvement from before. Looking into this next week, I would like to see some weight loss, but it's kind of hard to say that because it's basically a solid week of my period. So I don't know how much I'll actually have. And I can definitely say it'll be a week where I'm lifting weights 2 times out of the week, which will be really cool. Like I said, I enjoyed lifting weights. I don't necessarily enjoy the body weight exercises. Oh, the other big thing was yesterday was the first day I actually went on my knees. They're cleared up really good. The vast majority of the scabs are gone. The skin doesn't look like normal skin still, but it's still healing. And that secondary infection on one of my knees seems to be responding very well to the cream I was given. So I have all hopes that when this Thursday rolls around and I've used the cream for a week, I won't have to continue using it and I'll just be clear sailing from there. So today when I go to class with her, I will be taking a kneeling mat to help cushion my knees if I ever need to do something on my knees. And I'm excited because I don't know if I said it last time, but she had said that I needed some weightlifting shoes because my shoes have a heel. They're, meant for running. So they have quite a heel, and they're called Zero Gain. Zero Lift. But rather than a heel being lifted, it makes your foot flat on the ground. And she basically said they're not for everyday use. You just use it while you're lifting. And if they're not comfortable for you to go walking in, that's not a big deal because that's not why you're getting them. So those arrived and I get to go pick them up in time for class today. So I'll get to try those out for the first time, which I'm excited for. Is anything to help along the way. And they weren't crazy expensive. It's like my normal shoes. I have really high arches and I really need a lot of arch support in order to be comfortable in shoes for any length of time. And so my normal shoes are anywhere from $100 to $200, which is painful. And that's why I only get them once a year. And I absolutely have to, but I can start feeling the ground through my shoes. But these were like $45. So that's doable. And if I'm only going to be using them a couple times a week, I'd expect them to last a long time. So I'm excited to try those out and I'll report back on those. I don't know that there's anything else to add for this week. So I thank you for joining me. I hope that you've had a chance to move your body with grace and intention this last week. And until next time, feel free to like and subscribe.